Women of Reddit. What is the grossest thing a man has said to you? At work, a new hire looked at my shoes and stated those shoes are why women get raped. The shoes in question were platform wedge sandals, and I was the hour's admin running his new hire orientation. Here's your termination papers. Let's skip ahead to the part about what happens if you are involuntarily separated from the company. Said to a younger me, a skinny little tween in my junior school uniform standing awkwardly nearby at the bus stop, back quote, you know what you need? A good meal. And lots of sex. They needed a good whack. And lots of jail time. Well, 7 years ago my stalker ex found my new number and my house after finding my new Facebook profile and saw the picture of me and my then boyfriend as my profile picture. He called me and said he saw my profile picture and he rattled off my new address to me and told that he was going to burn my house down with me and my new boyfriend in it since he couldn't be with me. File a restraining order. Seriously. I was about 23. I'm 4 feet 11, about 120 pounds. I was the lead at a small building, but corporate, retail store. An electrician came in and my store leader paged me to let him into the electrical room in the back. It's a fairly small room that's kept locked. I unlock the door with my keys and let him into the room, and he turns to me and says they should never have sent a little one like you back here with me. I could have my way with you and you couldn't do anything about it. It scared me to death and I essentially ran out and found my manager, who honestly was a dick, but for totally non-sexual reasons, and he apologized to me sincerely that the man spoke to me like that. My manager was rather aggressive for the rest of the time he was there. Didn't say anything to him outright about what he said, but he definitely made the guy aware that he knew he was a piece of shit. It seriously scared me so much. He was perfectly respectable looking and said it in like a matter of fact but serious way, like a warning. My male coworker told me that sometimes the drainage system to the shellfish/meat freezers at his old workplace would clog up with old fish juice runoff, and he would have to fix it by sucking on the drain tube to get it flowing again, and that sometimes he would get old fish/meat/cooler juice in his mouth doing so. I almost puked hearing that. Congrats for having the only non-sexual gross thing said in these comments. At least as far as I've scrolled. Close bracket. Was waiting for the part where "and then I'm going to take you to Pound Town" would make an appearance. Was a bit of a relief that it never showed up. Girls like you get raped said to me and cousin when we were 11 and 15 years old. We were playing with a huge chess set in the town square and he was watching us. He had been sitting mumbling and staring before this loud declaration. We called my dad to come get us after he continued talking loudly about us to himself. According to my dad he was harmless, but not mentally well. Good God. That's horrible. I was working at a hardware store and helping a guy when a female co-worker walked by. He said, "I would eat a yard of her ass just to lick the bowl." I will probably never forget that. I've heard a few variations of this. I'd suck her dad's D just to taste the recipe. I'd suck the fart from her asshole. I'd drag my D across a mile of busted glass to suck the last D that fucked her. Kenny. I was 11 or 12, walking home from school. Older guy rides by on a bike and yells, "I want to stick my CCK in you." I was terrified. Ran home as fast as I could. I didn't fully understand what he meant, but I knew it was bad. It still upsets me when I remember it. I'm 60 years old. PEDO. What the hell was that dude thinking? Saying that to a kid. So most women remember first getting sexually harassed at age 12 to 13. I wish this was an uncommon experience but it just isn't. What makes it worse is that the harassment/abuse drops off at around 20. You should get a tattoo on each thigh, Thanksgiving on one, and Christmas on the other. This way, people can eat between the holidays. My 30-something neighbor to 12-year-me. The worst part about being a woman is that this S starts before you're even a woman. What gets me is how much the women I've talked to mention how much it goes down as they get past the age of like 15. Like these people are catcalling literal children and seemingly are not interested or too cowardly to get called out in like actual women. My girlfriend got catcalled the most when she was 12 or a bit younger. It rarely happens, now that she's in her 20s. I feel gross saying this, but she went through puberty earlier than most people, but there's still no mistake on a 12-year-old's face, or F-hype man. It's just insanely gross. I feel like the people who don't think catcalling is harassment or deny the influence of the male gaze, or whatever, don't appreciate that women get catcalled even as children, and don't appreciate the long-lasting effects that has. She's perfect, he heard as I was about 15 or 16 working a late night drive-through fast food window. Van of about 5 men. Driver proceeded to grab my entire arm, half yanking me out the window and into the van. Legit luck that another employee finished cleaning the dining room and ran over to pull me back after rounding the corner. I had a great relationship with our store manager and the owner, so I reported it. Manager was also a little pervy, so he ignored it, but the owner requested tapes and actually did some follow-up at least. No ending here. Holy shit. That's horrifying. On multiple levels. Manager is in a hat. I was like 12 and accidentally caught my uncle watching porn. I left as fast as I could, but he told me to come into his room and he geoded me to his lap, and he hugged me while it played. He watched it. I just looked at the floor and said I was going back outside to play with my sisters. All he said was he could show me how to do the stuff in the video. This might be the worst one here. I'm terribly sorry and hope you are okay. Are you a virgin? Said by a stranger in a restaurant. I was 14 to 15y/0 at the time. My response to this is no. I was born in December. I used to say not yet. Perfect response. Thank you for adding that to my lines. I had been dating a guy for a few weeks, and out of the blue he said that he wasn't actually attracted to me, so he didn't want to date me anymore, but he wanted to keep FMR, but he wouldn't be using condoms. The audacity of some guys. Geez. Have you seen The Most Hated Man on the internet on Netflix? Enough to make your blood boil at how many pathetic men and women are out there. Happened while working. I was doing an inspection at one of those bars/clubs for veterans. I was walking around the bar area with my flashlight when this guy, late 60s 70s, said, "Let me unzip my pants for you to check." My smartest mouth immediately replied, "This is a flashlight, not a magnifying glass." Either his hearing sucked, or the music was a bit too loud, so luckily he didn't hear me, or I probably would have been in deep S with my supervisor. Too bad he didn't hear. That's the perfect response. Man, I wish I could think on my feet like that. I always think of something good to say when it's too late. Same. Then I think about it in the shower every day, why I never said that thing. I'm an RN in a clinic, and I was rooming a patient who was making a few comments that made me a little uncomfortable. Nothing too crazy, but I was keeping quiet and just doing my job. His response? "You know silence means consent, right?" I literally just got up and left room to grab the male doctor to finish his vitals edit. The supervisor laughed when I told her what happened. This is what is wrong with healthcare. We are told we have to just put up with this kind of behavior. Thankfully the doctor and the nurses were horrified and didn't want me anywhere near him again. When I worked in an ER, we had this paralyzed dude that would always request his skin be moisturized, but it wasn't like he couldn't do it himself. Plus it's the MFR. And how he'd say off color rest to the women, and it made everyone grossed out. We decided we'd have me, larger dude, go in and I'd be the one running his legs down. He was so offended that another man would moisturize his skin. Mayo. I didn't hear him ask again throughout his stay. You can earn my respect back through your sexual penance. Apostrophe. TF type of kingdom did you live in? Post-Augustine Roman, I think. Yeah, that'd make sense, only those guys had big ego and small pages. I wore a smaller size of my uniform top to school once because my normal one was stained with coffee. A guy classmate walked up to me and said, "I bet you'll love when I rip that off you and rape you, won't you?" I reported him to the teacher and wore hoodies for the rest of the school years. He got suspended and had to apologize in front of the whole cohort, and he never approached me again. Wow. That's probably the first time I heard that a school did something effective against the bully. Yeah, but it did take a long time since they did it, because it ended up on our nation's music account, so they did it to silence people. Oh, I see. That kinda sucks. You act like you have your own mind or something. Teenage relationship. I wish could say that it ended after this comment. But sadly I wasn't done thinking less of myself at that point. I hope you're done now. I hope you're thinking more of yourself. A male friend who was a year older than me whispered to my ear while he back hugged me, "I'm gonna rape you." I started avoiding him after that, and he said it was just a joke and kept apologizing. OMG, basically same thing happened to me. I was 14, alone with a male friend, when he just looked at me and went, if I wanted to I could just rape you right now." Said it was a joke when I told him to F odd. Eek. A very similar thing happened to me. I was 18. He was 19. And we were at a party. He leant over and whispered in my ear, "I could rape you right now and you wouldn't be able to do a thing about it." I immediately pushed him away and went over to a couple of female friends and told them what he'd said. They called him out and he was all, "Oh, why can't she take a joke?" Thankfully he was frozen out of the friendship group after that. Even the other guys thought he was disgusting. Thank God you have decent friends. I had a man, when I told him I didn't want to be his mistress, tell me how easy it would be to commit murder and suicide. Do it, but in reverse order, please. This happened to my friend, and worst of all, it was my BF, now my ex, who said it. He was also her best friend and one of the few guys she trusted. She was talking about being assaulted sexually in her past, and she said, "Luckily I have never been raped," and his response was, "That's because you haven't been in a room alone with me." Didn't find this out until after we broke up. Wait, so was someone else in the room with them? Or was this the first time they'd been alone together? Not sure which is more ominous. It was luckily over text. When I was 16, me and my sister were walking in the mall, and we stopped to get food. While we were waiting for our food court sushi to be ready, I overheard this group of guys talking. One goes, "Bet I can get the fattest, most ugly chick to have sex with me." They laughed and all started talking about how they think he couldn't. Then someone replied with, "Fine then." Her right there, it was me. Of course it was me. He came up to me and put his arm around my shoulder and asked me what my name was while calling me Jurley. Me at the time, being in panic mode, told him my name. He proceeded to ask me if I would want to F him. I just walked away. I was in disbelief that what happened just happened. There are so many levels of horribleness in your story that it made me sad. How it made you feel, I can't imagine. Hope you got your revenge through having the good life you deserve. My real name is food related. Think Chardonnay, Clementine, Sherry, etc. I had a 55 plus man say to me while I was at work, "Oh, your name is X. I wonder what you taste like." Wink. I walked away immediately. "What's up, beetroot? Asking for trouble, Vegemite." I was 18 and serving an old guy by taking him to his table and talking with him as a hostess should, and I asked him if he had any other plans for the night, and he looked me up and down and said in a very serious tone and face, "Well, you are still dressed, so nothing yet." I was so grossed out I laughed it off and walked away as fast as possible after getting him to his table. Not haha funny, haha weird. Fucked up thing is they'll take the nervous laugh as you legit enjoying the joke. Then they'll call someone who doesn't laugh too sensitive cause other people gave them pity laughs. My partner once told a guy who made some gross joke to me after I'd done the awkward pity laugh, "You know, every girl who's ever laughed when you say yes like that is just feeling sorry for you and doesn't want to hurt your feelings." It was amazing. D. They sound like a keeper. Your partner. Close bracket. Are you a washing machine? I wanna chuck my dirty load in you. Takes the cake. Nothing has even come close to that guy. Sorry, I don't do economy loads. Oh, that is excellent, hahaha. Was at work wearing a red shirt with the word sale on it because a department store was having a sale. I was putting through a man's items at the registers and he asked me when I finished work and how long I was on sale for, with the most disgusting smile on his face, like he actually thought he was being clever. At that same job I was working the floor and an old man asked me if I would assist him in taking off his pants to try on the new ones in the changing rooms, right in front of his wife. I was 18 at the time and absolutely disgusted. I have lost a lot of weight Went from obese to fairly slim. My mother and her husband came to get me so we could visit my brother. The husband looked at me with huge eyes and said that if he was younger yada yada in front of my mother. I was horrified and told him to stop. He said it was okay since he and my mother would be joking like that a lot. Carrot. Spoiler, it wasn't okay for me. Close bracket. Got a random message from an unknown old guy on Facebook saying, "Come, drink from me," apostrophe. Was he nailed to a crucifix in his profile pic? Lol. A Catholic mass joke. And a great one at that. And on a Sunday. A hotel staff member asked me my room number so he could "drop by later." This was whilst on my honeymoon and my husband was slightly in front. The hotel worker said it quietly to me. Some people. "And what did you say to him?" I was so shocked I just pretended I didn't hear him and walked away. Fortunately never saw him again. Redheads taste like oranges. Followed by the thing Hannibal Lecter does after talking about human liver and fava beans. There are many others, but that one stands out for its uniqueness. Ugh.